Yeah. Yeah. You know, if I can't change the people around me, I change the people around me. If I can't change the people around me, I change the people around me. Some don't know what's up. Shades are just fucked up. They don't know what's next. Generation wrecked. See, I'm hanging like Sam Seven to all you Johnny-come-latelys who didn't recognize how great and clever some of these rhymes be. Been quick, been flowing over domes, mad vocab to silly crabs. Before metaphors be passing your ass like taxi cabs. Hit my toll-free number to hear the bombs I drop. 1-800-764-5321. You don't stop. I need my noise like Patrick and Barkley needs rings. Like Griffey gets swings. First time rhymers play me off like Sacramento Kings. 29-6, I move my rhymes with the times. With no crimes or pantomimes, no great pretenders or spenders. 20 years, got mad tears, leaving tears in their beers. From the rear, old school getting ears, you getting scared. It is on and 3 steps ahead. Hot topic, shocking the house full of heads. Getting burned while you learn on a hospital bed. Mad kids never checking for what I said. Jack be quick, Jack be nimble on the brain. I'm staying simple, but the sound remains insane. Same mad pain, no game, getting ghetto on the tables. No stories, no fables, relax, I'm Cinemax to the blacks. No cable, round and round, here I go, putting this sound down. But some of y'all got fears and scared to get down. If I can't change the people around me, I change the people around me. If I can't change the people around me, I change the people around me. Some don't know what's up. Shades are just fucked up. They don't know what's next. Generation wrecked. Some don't know what's up. Shades are just fucked up. They don't know what's next. Generation wrecked.
Yo, 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 yo. It is Thursday night, and we back at it. Come get it. Tonight's show is going to be called Black People, Why We Vote. You know, it's our legacy. And I'm just going to shout out to the people over here on Facebook. We need you guys to come over to the YouTube side. I posted a link over in the Facebook feed. If you click that link, it will bring you over to the Facebook side, to the YouTube side, because we're going to be presenting some stuff tonight, and you can't see it on Facebook. That's the bottom line. I know it's easier to sit on Facebook and just look and listen, but if you want the meat of what we're presenting, then we need you to come over here. We got a chat room over on the YouTube side also, and you can still see the call-in number and stuff like that, and actually call in and communicate with us. I see you out there, Brother Thomas. Thanks for joining. So with that being said, I'm going to present a clip real quick, basically giving a background on why we must get out and we must vote, even if we have a difference in opinion. I always say about the elders, those that came before us, they don't owe us nothing, but we owe them everything, because it's because of them that we have the lives that we have now. So I don't like when I hear people disrespecting them, talking that yah. With that being said, check out this clip.
You work for Mr. Dunn down at the rest home, ain't that right?
Yes, sir.
Wonder what old Dunn will say when I tell him one of his gals down here stirring a fuss.
I ain't stirring no fuss. I'm just here trying to register to vote.
Recite the Constitution's preamble. You know what a preamble is?
We the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union.
How many county judges in Alabama?
67.
Name them.
Constitutional right to vote.
What you're really trying to do is intimidate these people, and by making them stand in the raid, keep them from registering to vote.
Why do you think you're superior to me?
Don't you realize from one blood all nations flow? Or is that something you don't understand? And see, that irritates them. But see, don't let them worry about nobody, irritate nobody. When you're right, and when you're wrong, you're wrong.
Following legal challenges, blacks were allowed to vote. He says the fight was hard, but worth it.
A voteless people is a hopeless people. Don't care whether you're black, white, green, or gray. If you can't vote, you're messing up.
Retired teacher
They were once again pulled over by Deputy Price along with 2 carloads of Klansmen. The 3 men were put into the police car, driven to a remote location. And when they were driven to that location, Michael Schwerner and Andrew Goodman were both killed by close-range shots fired by Klansman Wayne Roberts. James Earl Chaney was savagely beaten and tortured prior to him being killed. The Klansmen took their bodies and buried them in an earthen dam on another Klansman's property, where the bodies lay undiscovered for 6 weeks. The disappearance of the 3 men was highly controversial in the area. Some Mississippi legislators and powers thought that it was all a hoax.
Jim, we got 3 kids missing down there. What can I do about it?
Well, I don't know. I don't believe there's 3 missing. Now, I'm going to tell you why I don't think there's a damn thing to it. They were put in jail in Philadelphia, in East Mississippi, right next to John Stennis's home county. And they were going to Meridian. There's not a Ku Klux Klan in that area. There's not a citizens council in that area. There's no organized white man in that area. So that's why I think it's a publicity stunt.
I believe them jokers planned and sitting off up there in New York laughing at us Mississippi folks.
Well, I believe it's a big publicity hoax, but if they're dead, I feel like they asked for it.
We did some training, working with people to prepare them to go to the courthouse to try to register a vote.
This is going down the road and knocking on someone's door and asking them to put their life on the line.
They would go in the courthouse, try to register, be turned away because they didn't know specific provisions of the Mississippi Constitution or whatever other sort of cockeyed criterion the registrar decided to use that day.
95 questions or something like this, just ridiculous, like who was the governor of Mississippi in 1922 or something, you know, just, you couldn't answer these questions. Particularly with people who, for the most part, the sharecroppers, they had very little education. So that was the way to keep them. But also, if you came down to register to vote, just because you came down and had to sign your name, you were fired by the time you got home. So if you had a family, and it all depended on the white guy's cotton field, you know.
The problem was that they might lose their job if they registered to vote. I mean, it was not a simple thing. And seeing the often black people who were so unwilling to look us in the eye because they were so used to looking down in the presence of a white person. And the idea that we would be sitting there talking directly to them about voter registration, I mean, part of our effort was just to give them a chance to get used to being in the presence of a white person who wasn't going to beat them or, you know, didn't look down on them.
I shall not be moved. I shall not be moved just like a tree.
There were some confrontations in the courthouse. Some people were attacked on the courthouse steps or even in the courthouse itself for trying to register to vote. It took an enormous amount of courage for people to do that because they knew in many ways it was symbolic. They had to demonstrate that they were being denied this right, and in that way they were putting themselves on the line.
And there were a couple times when it just got pretty hairy, and I stopped going on a white man's land to talk to the sharecroppers. Because then they have the right to shoot you.
Sorry about that. If you watched that clip, you saw just a sample of what black folks had to go through during Jim Crow after slavery, even though you were given the right to vote with the 15th Amendment. Everything that you tried to do to vote, they hindered it. They understood that the vote was power, but when the Constitution and everything was written, we were slaves. And they had no intention on allowing us to have an opportunity to engage in this process in a way that it could take power away from them. Now, you saw in the clip examples of what would happen. We'll say in the summers of 60, 61, 62, they had the Freedom Riders, which were groups from the North, New York and such, that went down south to help to register black folks. A lot of black folks in the South were still sharecroppers, didn't have a lot of education, but there was a big population that could give us a political stance. And the white folks understood this, so they would, a lot of states instituted different types of things like the poll tax. And in the poll tax, if your father or your grandfather had already previously voted, then you didn't have to pay this tax. But if they didn't, now you had to pay. So of course all the white men are like, oh well, my father and everything, they voted, so I don't have to pay this tax. Which is a bunch of crap because most of the black folks really didn't have that type of money. But in order to, if they came up with money, just like in the clip I showed at the beginning, where Oprah goes down to vote, and there they go using it. First he tried to intimidate her, saying, "Does you work for so and so, right?" How would he feel knowing that you down here starting a fuss? And this happened to a lot of black people that were trying to work and provide. A lot of this stuff was instituted during the Jim Crow days. And they had a whole set of laws, and Jim Crow laws kind of came into effect after Reconstruction, because you got to understand, at the end of slavery, they did try to do something, give us a little something, but within 10 years, all that was out the window. And they took back the land, or were given back the land by your government, and then segregation set in and pretty much left us, your government left us defenseless. So we did go and try to build our own communities, build a political base with the help of lawyers and brave black people that tried not to be afraid. They were able to register. Sometimes people would have to go 5 or 6 different times, And if they let them see the test or told them what they missed on the test, and they would go back and study, and they would share it with the group, and then everybody would have a better understanding. But no matter what we did, not until 1964, when we got some real protection under the law to stop these people from harassing us and allowing us to vote, did we still see the real promise of politics. And that's what we want to talk about tonight. There's an election coming up on Tuesday. Before we get into that, I want to share something here. We want everyone who sees this video to come to the No PC Show page, just as it's showing on the screen, the No PC Show, all one word. We're trying to grow the base. We have 53 subscribers. You can see the current videos that we've already produced and put out there. We welcome everybody with show ideas to send those show ideas to the show 1965@yahoo.com. A lot of times, if you present an idea, we want to talk to you. You can come sit in our studio and talk to us, or you can call in and we can discuss these topics. We're trying to grow something here, and we're starting off small, but we're growing. So we don't worry about this, the size. We worry about the message. But we want to encourage everyone to participate. In the morning times, I listen to Mays, Jackson, and Charles on VON. And they've got a group called, well, Mays has a group called What's in It for the Black People. And my thing is, I'm really not attached to just one group. You know, whatever group is doing something positive that I can be a part of, then that may be the group I'm a part of for that week or that month. But Charles and Mays talk a lot about politics. And unlike me, they really had this deep belief that politics works if it's done correctly. The problem is we as black people just haven't done it correctly. But every year they put out a guide for us to look through with suggested candidates. Not saying that these are the people that you must vote for, but this guy on the screen there that's T.O. Hardeman. He's running for governor. Doesn't have a lot of money, but he's the black candidate. Pritzker is out here spending a lot of money. Mays had an event last Saturday that I went to out here at Thornwood College, and they invited a lot of the people that are in these different races. This page here, you can, if you want the actual file, just send me an email at the show 1965@yahoo.com, and I will email you the actual file of what I'm showing you on the screen. And I've converted it to a PDF so I could share it with you. And if it's a PDF, then you can share it with other people. But what they do is give a breakdown of who and why they feel that these people might be someone that you might be interested in. We have to get to the point of learning to research. Let's stop just taking information people give you, whether it's me or someone else, whoever gives it. Take the time to study and research and develop your own understanding. Just like on this page here, it says J.B. Pritzker and Juliana Stratton. And they write, while we are still comfortable with J.B. Pritzker's, while we are still uncomfortable with J.B. Pritzker's comments on an FBI recorded phone call and Juliana Stratton's 6-month tenure as a state representative and weapon of Ken Duncan's destruction, we believe JB is the best candidate for black transactional politics. Basically saying, JB got some money. Can we get some of that money? he's promising to do stuff for black people, but they all promise to do something for black people. And it always seems to be the bait and switch. I'm not so much looking for the bag as I'm looking for an opportunity or a vehicle of change that's actually going to uplift black people. Sometimes I believe that the worst of two evil choices that we have are still both evil, and it doesn't move us far enough, or it takes us back, but it just hasn't delivered the way that we think it should deliver. So in my effort to educate myself in things, I've been going to a few of the events and things like that. I want to have this open mind. I want to believe that there's going to be some politicians that actually do what they say. And they're talking about all the candidates. They're talking about Chris Kennedy, Daniel Bliss. There's been debates on TV for the last week. You know, it's getting down to that point of who you're going to vote for and what races you're going to vote for. What I found great, you can read this, but there's also, I found the tool, or I would just call it a tool, Ballotpedia. Now, Ballotpedia allows you to research different races, research candidates, and you can look up these candidates and find out what they voted for, how they voted on one subject, or how they voted on another subject. And you can get the information that you need to make your decision. It's pretty detailed. They have stuff all over here. I was looking for the search button here so I could actually show you. And I was just looking at it early. Of course, when the site when the show comes on, you can't find any of the stuff that you're looking for. But you are able to bounce around this site. You're able to find a lot of different information on elections, on politicians. We've got politicians, and like I said, with the page I just showed you with Mays and them, they may not look at it as giving a pass to different types of candidates. Maybe I'm just different with the way I trust people or do not trust people. You know, it's once you do something bad, you know, I'm going to remember that you did something bad. And it's not too much around that I'm gonna let you get away with because you're bad. just plain and simple. But if the hope is that some of the people that are out there that we can vote for can help us. Now the thing about the help is we have to hold them accountable, right? If we're not holding anybody accountable, then what's the point? You got to be able to hold the people accountable. There's no other way around that, and that's what we do. We vote and we vote and we vote, and we don't hold anybody accountable. Even when it came to President Obama, we didn't hold him accountable. We just went on and we said yes, and the speech is good, and this is great, and he's going to make change for us. But it was change that we never even asked for. So how's he going to make change when we never even asked for the change? But all the other groups asked for change. Speaking of Obama, earlier today I heard that he actually looked out for the Hispanics who came to him, and now he's giving them a contract toward the library. Now, all the money has already been passed out as far as I knew. So where's this new money gonna come from? As I explain to black folks all the time, there's a pie. Everybody gets a cut of the pie. And if somebody else comes along and needs some pie, they just take it out of our section. They don't take it out their section, they take it out of their section. But in their neighborhoods, they got 85 to 100% of the pie. How we made the deal to allow them to have 49% of our 51% pie, and now it's going to be cut up and shared with more people. This is how we keep getting pushed out, pushed to the side. And sometimes it's your church that's telling you, oh, this is going to be a great opportunity. You have to make that political decision yourself. There's a separation between church and politics. And they really shouldn't be mixed, but we've had a history of the church being our leadership. Therefore, we go along a lot with what the church says. It's kind of made us sheepish because no one wants to go against the pastor. And you're not going against the pastor when you're making political decisions that affect your life. If you don't agree with the candidate, then you don't agree with the candidate. This candidate doesn't represent what you are trying to be about. I'm back here to this Blackopedia page. This is just Robin Kelly. A lot of people are voting for her. But like I said, on this page, you're able to go down and see what they voted for, how they voted. Was this a plan that affected you? Did it take something away from you? Did it give something to you? You're able to see the record. And before Tuesday comes around, I'm going to be sat here and went through every candidate just to see what they did in these previous years for black people. Because when I look at stuff like this, these are all votes they took for white things, white laws and things that they wanted to push through. And Malcolm said that very clearly. They vote on everything, and then they come to you. And by the time they come to you, well, we don't have that. We don't have any money left for that. Oh, let's table that. Support my bill, and maybe I'll support your bill. This is the training that we have to get untrained from the way you do things and the way you live things, and don't let anybody, me or anybody, change your thinking unless it's something that benefits you. Don't get sucked into other people's thought processes unless it benefits you. And that goes for all aspects of life. This is why they're able to treat us a certain way and act a certain way and keep you impoverished, and us Negroes with a little job or something like that, then you'll see us on TV spouting the same nonsense about bills and things that they want to pass, and they get you with the money, and then you're no good to help the movement either. I'm probably going to vote for T.O. Hardeman just because I don't feel comfortable with voting for Ronner, who was a crook, and before he even got in the office, I did a show, told everybody, don't vote for this dude. He tried to say how we're abusing the programs. No, white people totally abuse programs before it even gets down to black people. Black people just become the fall guy. We're not really taking any calls tonight. This was going to be a short show. I just want to share some different things with everyone, because it's important that you get up, you got like a whole 12 hours in the day. You can do early voting. If you work downtown, you can do early voting. You don't have to wait and be in the lines. Usually I go vote like at 6 a.m. as soon as the polls open. Sometimes it's clear and sometimes it's a mess. That's why I go at 6. That gives me enough time if there is a mess that we can clean it up. But we definitely had to educate ourselves. If you want to research a certain candidate, you can go to the actual Ballotpedia page, or you can type in, and there's got to be a search feature here. I just can't find it right now. Oh, here it is right here. So if I want to say JB Pritzker, if I'm spelling that right. See, I probably spelled it wrong. But we know what I'm talking about. That you can go out here and you can research these different candidates. See right down here, you got J.B. Pritzker. You can click there. Gives you the whole drop on these people. And he's just not going to be, he's just not going to be able to get away with that whole phone conversation. Even though it was Blagojevich doing most of the talking, he was still in agreement. Just like a lot of them. They sit around, they plan, they plot to get these different positions, to get these different seats. And they pick the safe Negro and put this safe Negro out in front of us, and then the safe Negro promises to deliver the votes. I can talk to my people. They've been behind me for years. This is going to work. What have we gotten? We're not getting anything. The closest we got a black president, and then the system corrupted the black president, and we got nothing. So hopefully people will go out to Ballotpedia, search the different candidates. Hopefully everyone will go to, if you want this document, let me know. I will email it to you, or you can go type in your search bar, Mays Jackson, the What's in It for the Black People Voters Guide. MaysJacksonSaid.com, the What's in It for the Black People's Voters Guide. You can probably just type in the What's in It for the Black People's Voters Guide and get to the same place. But if you're checking out the show and you want the file, I've already got the file where you can print it out and where you can take it into, you can circle who you want to vote for, and then you can take it in when you vote. It's a research tool. It helped me out a lot last year, especially when we got down to the judges. And there was a ton of judges. I think there's almost four pages of judges. And you got to realize you're probably going to see a judge before you see any other politician. And these are the people that are making decisions about your life, your kids' life when they go down to court. These are the people. So we need to research these people. There's nobody, I think, up for retention. I think these are just, people that are running. So if you can take a few more minutes and go through and look at the judge, Cook County Commissioner, it's a lot of people running for that. Cook County President, I personally think Toni Preckwinkle is going to win again because she's part of that machine. And this show tonight wasn't to bore you to death, but it is a guide to help us. This is Carrie Steele. This is Mays' wife. She's running for Water Reclamation District Commissioner. She's already currently another type of commission. They got so many commissions down here, but you know, she's on the ballot. I've met quite a few people that are running for offices through going to these events, and we all have to find our way around, just like we find our way up to the store to do this and to do this and do this. Let's respect the legacy of the people that made this possible for us. Let's not let people convince us that it means nothing and that I'm not going to vote. Ever since I turned 18, I have been voting. And I'm sure I voted for some devils here and there. And whatever benefits and things that we got, it really didn't make a difference. But when you have young folks that died for your right to vote, Medgar Evers, who fought for this country and came back home and realized that this country was still taking a dump on the Negro, and decided to organize and became the first NCAAP field officer, died for your right to vote. And that was in '63, even before 1964, where they finally signed the Civil Rights Amendments. So we can never afford to dump on these people ourselves. These are the people that made it possible for us to have what we have right now. And that may not be much, but that's what we have. And we have to carry the torch for our children, so they too will have something that they can look at and pick up and carry on. I know this wasn't our normal show, but this was something that we wanted to do. So if you want this file, this voter's guide, hit me at theshow1965@yahoo.com. That's theshow1965@yahoo.com. And I will send this file to you. You can share this file with your friends. If you're in my Facebook group, I posted it, but I didn't post the file, so I'll put the file up there. And let's really think about who's in the best interest for us. And how is that best interest going to play out? So if you didn't, I actually posted the form that I did go to on Saturday. So if you're in my group on Facebook, it's a 4-hour feature. You can still watch it there. You can still go and look at these candidates, and you can make a wise choice. And that's what we have to do as black people. Start making wise choices. Stop being scared. Stop letting people that have no interest in you other than election time talk you into making the decision that's not good for you. Love, peace. So we out of here.
Step out of the car. I have the right to do that. I do have the right. Now step out or I will remove you. I refuse to talk to you other than to identify myself.
Now if your woman ain't no revolutionary, she'll persuade you to be a fucking slave for the rest of your days. She'll be grooming you on how to behave, teaching you how to coon and buck dance so that you can be safe. If that brother ain't no rider, soldier, no provider, molder of young minds, check it out. You got yourself a bitch. Think about the time that you invested in him. If he's wearing them skinny jeans, you a lesbian. For every 100 black women who ain't locked up, it's only 83 black men remain. Take away 1.5 million black men who might have benefited their women and their children. You don't know a war when it's waged against you, when it makes you drive your baby mama to the clinic just to kill your own. Ain't no legacy to leave behind, cause ain't nobody sitting on your throne. You motherfuckers are asleep in a war zone, living a nightmare, dying in your own home. If you don't stop, you gon' lose what you got left. I'd rather die trying to fight for my last breath. Free Freedom or death, you asleep in a war zone. Living a nightmare, dying in your own home. If you don't fight, you gon' lose what you got left. I'd rather die trying to fight for my last breath. Freedom or death, nigga. Sandra Bland was a rider. She wouldn't have committed suicide, and you a motherfucking liar. It would not be wise to stop when you hear sirens and you see the police behind you, but you don't wanna die. They gon' shoot you if you run. They gon' say that you was going for the police gun. That's why they shot you like 120 times, but you was still coming, so they put another bullet in your lung. Them devils got you praying while they murder, because they know you on that bullshit. They steady with them full clips and body armor. They kill your women in the street, cause they figure you too weak to do anything about it. You some shit, getting fucked in your sleep. They poison you every time you brush your teeth. You don't care, you behave like a slave. A bitch from the cradle to the grave, on your knees with your hands out, begging cause you want to. You motherfuckers are asleep in a war zone, living a nightmare, dying in your own home. If you don't stop, you gon' lose what you got left. I'd rather die trying to fight for my last breath. Freedom or death, you asleep in a war zone, living a nightmare, dying in your own home. If you don't fight, you gon' lose what you got left. I'd rather die trying to fight for my last breath. Freedom or death, nigga. Freedom or death, nigga. Fuck that. Freedom or death, nigga.
If you just listen.
Freedom or death, nigga. Freedom or death, nigga. Freedom or death, nigga.
Jail. I'm getting it for what?